These are complex problems we face, but one thing is for sure. We cannot create a clash of civilizations where we are, in a sense, pointing fingers at a whole religion. First of all, the vast majority of Muslims in this country and elsewhere are peaceful, law-abiding people. And
there are those on the inside of politics who believe once the Republican field thins out, Donald Trump will be exposed as the would-be emperor with no clothes. If, and there's a major if, the right person emerges with the demeanor and intelligence to defeat him. That person may be already making his move and could be someone the left needs to fear. Fear not the political animal as we lay waste to the other so-called panels who claim to let both sides speak yet cower behind their partisan hackery. From the left, bring forth Executive Director of the Travis County, Texas Democratic Party and Democratic strategist J.D. Gins. From the right, nice beard, by the way. From the right, counter that with veteran Republican strategist known far and wide for his mild-mannered countenance, Ford O'Connell. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. J.D., I do like it. You're channeling Paul Ryan there. It's very nice. We got to give
Thank you. He's channeling me.
All right, I figured that's what you would say.
That boy band look, you know how that works out.
Ford, let me start with you. The late news coming in today. The Republican Party is preparing for a brokered convention. The Washington Post is all over it. People are talking about it now. Is this just inevitable, and is this the straw here? This is the Republicans saying, Donald Trump, we're going to do everything we can, right down to creating chaos to make sure you don't get a shot at the White House.
Well, I hear this song and dance every 4 years. While it's likely this year, as it was likely 4 years ago, I do think that this is the party insiders basically telling you the Trump phenomenon is real and you better hold on to your pants.
But how messy could this get, though, Ford? Because if you get down to the brokered convention, this is a lot of infighting going on the floor. This could either A, unify the Republican Party behind Donald Trump, or B, make it a bigger mess than it is right now.
Well, I don't know how it can get any bigger of a mess than it is, and I'm pretty neutral in this crapshoot. But I'll say, you know what? If it's a unifying thing, good. If not, and somebody runs away with the nomination, they're our party's nominee.
There you go. Now, J.D., let me come to you. And I mentioned the guy that maybe the left should fear here if indeed he starts to rise. There's a lot of talk now about Ted Cruz. USA Today, according to insiders, say that he is positioned to win in Iowa. He's not taking shots at Donald Trump. He's the guy basically playing it down the middle. Let's face it, J.D., if there's somebody on the right who's actually playing the beat Trump card properly, it's Ted Cruz. He's doing it intelligently.
Sure. Well, first I'll say that, you know, if you're having a big floor fight at your convention, it's not good for your party. No one wants to watch a big floor fight unfold on national TV except for the Democratic Party. And so that's happening. That's not good for the Republicans. I don't think the Democratic Party should fear Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are kind of from the same ilk. And that's why Ted Cruz has been very careful to not criticize Donald Trump too much. But I don't think that the problem and reason that Republicans keep losing national elections and losing the presidency is because they're not conservative enough. I think it's because most of the Republican values are starting to become more and more out of step with millennial voters and most of the mainstream voters who vote in presidential elections. So if the Republican Party decides to go further right than what they've done in the past, I think that's a great position for the Democratic Party to have because it leaves the center wide open for the Democratic Party.
Yes, the chuckle from Ford O'Connell. Go ahead, Ford. I'm just going to open it up.
Well, look, here's what J.D. misses. The deal is that Republicans want to be energized. They weren't energized by McCain. They weren't energized by Romney. I really don't care who they pick as long as they pick someone that everyone in the party's walking lockstep with. I'm not really worried about Barack Obama's record. I'm certainly not worried about Hillary Clinton's likability. So right now, it's going to be a very close election no matter what.
All right, so let's go ahead and change
clearly, the people are going to be in a big fight over it, though, or otherwise
Your superdelegates are bought and sold for. Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee no matter whether Bernie Sanders was up in the polls or down with the polls. Stop with the cronyism because we know what's going on in the Democratic Party.
We're not talking about the Democratic Party right now, but clearly the Republican Party is divided, and if they put forward Ted Cruz, it's not going to be energizing for the entire Republican Party.
All right, now let me talk about the Democratic side, though. Let me talk about the Democratic presidential side.
2008, I'm yawning over the division.
Western Illinois University, now this came out a couple of days ago, but I think it's worth noting, has successfully predicted every single presidential election with 100% accuracy since 1975. They've just completed, a couple of days ago, their 2016 mock election. J.D., they said Bernie Sanders will be president of the United States and Martin O'Malley will be his vice president. Now, as somebody who's been talking about Hillary Clinton all the time, how do you react to that? 100% accurate all the time.
I think there's a lot of things that make Bernie Sanders look really strong. He's got a big grassroots following. He's raising money faster than Barack Obama did. And I promise the Hillary Clinton campaign is not taking him for granted. And I think a lot of people in the Democratic Party are energized and excited about him. So while I think it's too soon to say with 100% certainty he's going to be the president, there's no doubt about it. He's formidable. I even think a lot of Republicans like him.
I'll say with 100% certainty Hillary Clinton's going to be a Democratic nominee unless she goes to jail or gets sick.
Hey, Ford, would the right at all fear Bernie Sanders if he was the nominee?
Absolutely not, but I will say this about Bernie Sanders. You have to go after him in a very different way with than Hillary Clinton, because he is someone who actually does speak to progressives and does fire them up, versus Hillary Clinton. They only support her because they're fearful of a Republican sitting in the White House in 2017.
All right, we only got 40 seconds left. Quickly, here's our Donald Trump note. He has canceled plans to visit Israel, saying he will do it after he becomes president of the United States. Ford, do you think just a little too much pressure put on him and maybe he overshot himself this time?
No, I think this is an absolutely brilliant move. He doesn't want to get crosswise with Bibi, who's seen as someone that Republican voters like, but at the same time, he cannot tame the international media that's calling for his head in the way that he can tame the American mainstream media with a Siegfried and Roy routine.
10 seconds, JD. Doesn't make a difference how you look at it. He's still leading the polls big.
I think he's winning in the polls. I think it's very likely he can end up being the nominee of the Republican Party, and I think that'd be great for the Democratic Party if that's what happens.
Who knows? Bernie Sanders in there? Ouch. That's going to get the Hillary people all nice and excited and thrilled, which is what we like to do here. Ford O'Connell, J.D. Gins, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again real soon. Now, the man who understands political speak better than most and has a suggestion for Donald Trump when it comes down to Trump's controversial statements about Muslims. Dick Morris is next, right here on The Hardline.